evening, everybody. Thrilled to be here. This is, I think, the first time we've been in front of all of you since the successful votes. So, got it. So wanted to come in tonight is really more about timeline. I'll just go over the general timeline. Dawn will get a little more into specifics about what the next few months hold right now. Next slide, please. This is the timeline you've all been used to, and that big yellow triangle was what we were trying to get past. And with the successful votes, and congratulations to all of you, because without your support and the support of the citizens, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight to talk more about this. So we're thrilled. We're in about the second fifth of design development, which is about 5 months, and it's really about taking that schematic design that was really the basis of the SD submission to the MSBA, and really starting to do just what it says, develop that into a set of what will ultimately be biddable plans and specifications. It's a long road, it's about a year from that approval to when those plans and specs will be ready, roughly about this time, a little earlier than this time next year, probably June, July, I think is where that kind of plays out. And then a couple months worth of bidding will take place. Once the bidding is done, we'll have our 18 months of construction, and then, just construction for the new building, but then there's a lot of things to take down at both sites. There's really the move in, really getting everybody ready so that, we're ready to go and open the doors for the kids in the fall of 27. So what we want to do now is Dawn will take us through kind of in detail what's going to be talked about and discussed over these coming months, really to give the committee a kind of an understanding of just the level of detail. Everything was kind of high level up until now. Now we're really going to start diving into really the nuts and bolts of what's going to build this school. Don?
Great, thanks, John. Thanks for having us here tonight. Just to remind you what the building's going to look like. This is the fun part, right? Because we're taking what is schematic design that you see up here now, and we're developing all the details around it, not just in the building on the exterior, but certainly the interior, and how the spaces are formed, and all the site development too that takes place. So we're in what's called design development. Next slide, please. And really to just give you an overview of where we're going to be over these next few months. Look back first. We've been working with the working group on a bi-weekly basis and the SBC on a monthly basis. So there haven't been a tremendous number of meetings to date, but we have met with staff before they left at the end of the year and got a good handle on any programmatic needs that we had to be addressing over the summer. So design development is basically taking what is schematic design and bringing it into more detail. So getting a better handle on your mechanical systems, your structural systems, finding out more about what's underground and whatnot, and learning more about materials. And at the end of this phase, we'll have some more developed, more detailed drawings from when we had a schematic design and specifications, and we'll be doing another cost estimate as we do with the schematic design. But Dore Whittier's architects and our consultants, as you can imagine, are fully engaged. And one of the first things we've done over the last couple of months is you can see the site subsurface investigation. So we did test pits, which basically going out working with the town's DPW. Thank you to them for providing manpower and equipment out there to look at where the groundwater is. We knew there was some high groundwater historically, but we needed to have a better sense ourselves. And you basically go out and dig test pits with a backhoe, and you can read in the gradation of the soils how high the groundwater comes up. So we have a good sense of that now, and the spots was a little higher than initially thought. So that's important to know, because that impacts or really informs our subsurface drainage design that our civil engineers will be doing. We also went out and did additional soil borings. That's basically going and drilling into the ground down likely to refusal, but just to get a sense of what the soils are like out there. And we did find them to be sandy, cobbly soil, so really good gravel from a geotechnical perspective to be supporting the structure that's gonna be on top of it. And then we did some geo-environmental analysis, some soil sampling. And if you may recall, when we did some initial sampling, we weren't quite sure what the characteristics of the soils might be as it related to potential contamination. And we're happy to report that we found essentially clean soils out there. So that just may affect our budget in a positive manner, which is good, because we've been carrying money not knowing exactly what was under there. So we felt good about that. And then, as I said, we're talking about exterior and interior refinements along the way. And then setting up some specialized working groups to discuss playground design, sustainability, and safety. Next slide. So based upon what we have found with the subsoil investigation, we're developing that stormwater design. And what's going to be hugely important coming up towards the end of this phase is our meeting with the planning board, submission to planning board, and conservation. So we actually had a planning meeting with Karen Joseph, the town planner, and Jen Smith, the Concom agent, just to see what the ground rules are going to be, see what their expectations were, and it was a very productive meeting. So we're pleased with that and what that particular outcome was. So we're getting ourselves set up with the design to submit for that, and the plans are being refined, the exterior elevations, interior materials all being designed and developed. You see the mechanical systems are being upgraded. We're doing some of the background gathering for a traffic study, which will commence after school starts, so we can track trips to and from the site and during the day. And then actually we've been back in the building now. Our hazardous materials consultant back in both Hatherly and Cushing to get a good gauge on the hazardous materials, because we've already had a budget. We just want to do a little deeper dive. And as of today, everything looks consistent with what we found during schematic design. Next slide. And then we'll continue to develop everything throughout the month of September, get into the technology infrastructure when we're talking about security, do background noise checks on the neighborhood, because we will have mechanical equipment on the building, so we want to make sure that we have a good handle on what the ambient noise is out there, and whatever we're going to be putting on the building, we're going to be screening in such a way that so it's not affected. So that'll be done. And then we'll get all these documents to the point where we'll set it out for our cost estimates. Next slide. And once again, that'll be done with Dore Whittier and with Vertex consultants. We'll have two cost estimates that go on independently of one another. Then once those are done, we'll all get back together and we'll reconcile those likely within somewhere between 1% and 3% of each other. It was a very successful process as we went through schematic design, so we're expecting it'll continue to be the same, depending on what the numbers come back at. What we'll do is we'll be presenting that to the working group, to the SBC. If there are items that need to be looked at for value engineering or potential bid alternates, we'll be doing it at that time. And at some point, at the end of the month, we'll be submitting to MSBA with the SBC's vote and get approval to move into the construction documents, which is where we really develop the documents and bring them up to a level where we can bid the project and someone can construct the building from those documents. So that's an overview of where we are between really June and looking into October. So